So because it's in my debug folder, I don't need to give this long path. But if your database is outside your debug folder or is a bit away from your exe file folder, then you can give the path also. So write data source is equal to database.db, which is my database name. Then semicolon version is equal to 3 semicolon and double quote. So write this line at the top. Now in this button click event for login page, what I will do is I will create a connection with my SQLite database. So write this line here. So first declare this SQLite connection, write SQLite connection and give it a variable name SQLite con, in my case is equal to new SQLite connection, and here in this argument of this SQLite connection you will pass this connection string variable here. So this, just copy this and paste it here, and then just copy this SQLite connection variable here and write dot open. Now here we can also provide this try catch block. So if this database faces some exception, then it will catch the exception. Catch and just give this, and here you can write exception ex, and in here you can give the message box dot show, and in the bracket just copy this ex and dot message. Okay, now in this try catch block, after this SQLite con dot open, what we need to do is we need to pass our query. So here we will write this line. So write string and give it a variable name, because it is my query string, so I will write query is equal to, then I will pass my query. So I will write select star from employee info, which is my table name of my database. So this is the table and this is called employee info, that's why I have written here. So select star from employee info where username, so my column here is called username, so I have written where username is equal to, then write this single quote and inside double quote, and inside this give this plus sign and write this dot text underscore username dot text. This is my text box name, so this text box name is text underscore username, so that's what I have written here, this dot text underscore username dot text. Okay, and then after this end of this single quote write and password is equal to single quote double quote plus, and then I will write this dot text underscore password dot txt. This is my text box name for the password, right? So I have written this query. Then in the next line I will create the command for this query. So I will write this line, write SQLite command and give it a variable name, create command is equal to new SQLite command, and in the argument of this SQLite command just pass this query variable as a first argument and write this sqlite con variable as a second argument. So write this line. Now in the third line I will write here these two lines. So I will execute this query now. So write create command, which is my this sqlite command variable dot execute when non-query and bracket and bracket close, and declare a new variable called sqlite data reader and give it a variable name called dr for data reader is equal to create command dot execute reader and bracket close. In the next line for login page I am creating an integer called count is equal to 0, and then I will create a while loop. So I will write while bracket and bracket close from here, and in this while loop I will copy this dr variable from here, and then I will write dot read and here close these brackets. And now in this what I will do is I will copy this count int variable and I will do plus plus and bracket closed. Okay, now after this while loop what I will do is I will create a condition. So what condition I'm going to create is write if and give it just close this first if condition, and first of all write if count is equal to 1, then I will pass some message which shows like this. So in this if condition I have written message box dot show username and password is correct. So what I am doing is I am writing or entering the username and password, and I'm passing this query to query the database, and it goes to the while loop and it searches for the username and password, and while in the while loop it increases if it finds the username and password, and if it finds the username and password once, then your username and password is correct. And I will just copy this condition 2 times more, so 1 and 2, and if this count is greater than 1, then you will write duplicate username and password, and you can also write try again, right? And if this count is smaller than 1, then you can write username and password is not correct. Okay, so that is your code for the login page. Okay, so now we are going to run the code now. So run this code, and first of all we will just see the table what we have in the username and password. So I have 3 employees right now, and first employee username and password is 1 and 1, second employee username and password and username is 2 and 2, and in the third employee my username and password is 1 and 1 again. So this is a duplicate username and password which I created for a reason to show this demonstration. So now when I run the program and it's running, and I write here 1 and 1 username and password, and I click here login, it shows me duplicate username and password. Why? Because this username and password is present 2 times, and 2 employees cannot have the same username and password. That's why I have given this condition. Now when I write here 2 and 2 employee ID, then it says me username and password is correct because it's present only once and username and password is correct. And when I give here 3 and some random value and I click, it says me username and password is not correct. Okay, so now your login page is basically working, right? You just need to change this username content if you want, so it will look good, and here also password, just change the content, so now it's looking better. Okay, so in this way you can create a login page for your WPF C# application using your SQLite database. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.